K-pop boy band BTS achieves another world first, becoming the first Korean group to debut at #1 on Billboard's Top 200 chart. And South Korean President Moon Jae-in congratulates the group and their legion of fans. An unbelievable act of courage caught on camera. An illegal immigrant is granted French citizenship and has been offered a job by the fire brigade after rescuing a child dangling from a balcony in Paris. Now we begin this morning in Singapore. Delegations from the U.S. and North Korea have reportedly arrived in the Southeast Asian city-state for working-level talks ahead of a possible summit next month between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump. A team led by Kim Chang-sun, the regime's top logistics and protocol official, is set to have landed in Singapore late Monday local time. Now this is following shortly after the arrival earlier in the day of a U.S. delegation led by Joe Higgins, that is, Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations at the White House. On a separate but complementary track, the AP is reporting that a CIA team assumed as the CIA Korea Mission Center is meeting with its North Korean counterpart, headed by the regime's vice chairman of its Workers' Party, Kim Young-chol. And it's not just the prep team in Singapore that's working to make the Kim-Trump summit a reality. Delegations from the two sides have been locked in talks for days now on the northern side of the inter-Korean border village of Panmunjom to possibly fine-tune the details for the summit next month. Our Lee Ji-won reports.
It's the third day of secretive meetings between the U.S. and North Korea on the northern side of Panmunjom. The delegations are reportedly led by the former U.S. ambassador to South Korea and former nuclear negotiator Sung Kim, and from North Korea, Choi Sun-hee, the regime's vice foreign minister and a former director of her ministry's North American department. Both are experts in their fields, so pundits expect that they'll discuss the agenda and details of the Pyongyang-Washington summit. And on the topic of denuclearization, what should be the first step?
We have a basic idea of what the end point of Pyongyang's denuclearization would look like if a deal is reached. But we don't yet have a clear picture of the first steps for it, and that's vital for building trust. So the US could ask the North to take actions that clearly show its determination, which would also need to be reciprocated.
In fact, Japan's Kyodo News Agency reported Monday, citing U.S. officials, that Washington is asking Pyongyang to first transfer the 20 nuclear warheads it is believed to have to somewhere outside of its borders as soon as possible. While that request could seem similar to the so-called Libya model, Trump had said that he would not take that approach and instead focus on his Trump model. Trump last week had also, for the first time, hinted at the possibility of accepting a phased-in disarmament for North Korea. And some experts say this new Trump model is what might be in discussion at Panmunjom.
The North has protested strongly against having to give up its nukes first, which could have been one of the reasons it issued those aggressive statements 2 weeks ago. But with the two sides now sitting down to talk again, it's likely that the North accepted the U.S. request, but also demanded, among other things, that it be done progressively.
Some experts also pointed at the possibility that the North could counterpropose to give up its intercontinental ballistic missile first, which is the very own missile that is known to be able to drop the nuke on the U.S. Lee Ji-won, Arirang News.
Now, staying with those working-level discussions between North Korea and the U.S., watchers are saying that the men and women that make up the respective delegations show both sides are serious about ensuring the negotiations are a success. For more on an in-depth look at who they are, our Kim Hyo-sun reports.
The U.S. has expressed its strong intent to make its negotiations with North Korea a success, with its veteran diplomat and expert on the North, Sung Kim, leading preparations for a historic meeting between the leaders of the two countries. Sung Kim, U.S. ambassador to the Philippines, served as Washington's special envoy to the six-party talks from 2008 to 2011, and also as the U.S. ambassador to South Korea from 2011. He returned to a more direct role in negotiations as U.S. Special Representative for North Korea policy in 2014.
But at the same time, we will coordinate with our five-party partners to look for an opportunity to resume credible, meaningful, serious negotiations on the nuclear issue.
Sung Kim was selected to lead negotiations with the North at such a crucial time, despite the fact he served under the Obama administration. Pundits say it reflects President Trump's strong determination to make the negotiations a success. Sung Kim's North Korean counterpart at the working level talks is the regime's Vice Foreign Minister, Choi Sun-hee. She has years of experience and is well connected within the North Korean hierarchy. Choi, the daughter of a former premier, joined the foreign ministry in mid-1980s and served as an English interpreter. During the past several years, she was a spokesperson for the North Korean regime through her various meetings with U.S. experts in Europe and Southeast Asia.
If the right conditions are made, we will sit down with the Trump administration for talks.
Choi Kang-il, who's in charge of North American affairs in the North, is also part of the North's delegation. He reportedly made contact with U.S. officials in February while visiting South Korea for the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. With the years of experience on both sides, there is hope they can thrash out a way to make the Singapore summit happen as planned on June 12th. Kim Yo-sun, Arirang News.
And in another sign of rapidly thawing tensions, the Trump administration has decided to hold off on additional sanctions against North Korea. Citing U.S. government officials, the Wall Street Journal reported Monday that Washington will indefinitely delay imposing additional sanctions against the regime while talks with the North proceed to prepare for a summit. Now, such measures, the report says, refer to dozens of major sanctions against the North the Trump administration has been reviewing, which include expelling North Korean laborers from foreign countries. And regional players are working fervently ahead of that possible summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump in Singapore. One leader who is refusing to take any chances is Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. The White House has confirmed on Monday that Trump and Abe have agreed to meet before the North Korea-U.S. summit. Now, it also says the two leaders have, quote, affirmed the shared imperative of achieving the complete and permanent dismantlement of North Korea's nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons and ballistic missile programs. Turning now to the ongoing diplomacy between the two Koreas, South Korean President Moon Jae-in is stressing the importance of being able to meet more easily and casually with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, just like they did over the weekend. And President Moon has ordered his aides to come up with the necessary measures to make his goal a reality. Our Moon Gun-young with more.
명장면 중 하나가 10초 동안 깜짝 제대로 된 연주를 잘 못해서 이해하는 마음입니다. 김정은 위원장은 책임자가 받았어. 그런 상황이 이렇게 쉽게 만나서 이렇게 해서 이제 판문점에서 만났다. 또 만났다는 그런 기대가
Once unimaginable. In fact, up until this past weekend, that is, this kind of a casual meeting is what the rest of us may witness more often in the future between leaders of two sides separated by the most heavily fortified border in the world, or is at least what South Korean President Moon Jae-in hopes for. Speaking to his top aides 2 days after his unannounced face-to-face with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un on the northern side of the demilitarized zone, the border that separates the two Koreas, President Moon ordered necessary arrangements to be made for future meetings of such, as he plans to make these somewhat like a normal routine between friends.
예, 이번 남북 정상회담에서 무엇보다 의미가 컸던 것은 남북의 정상이 긴급한 현안을 논의하기 위해 번잡한 절차와 형식을 생략하고 일상적인 만남처럼 쉽게 연락하고 쉽게 약속하고 쉽게 만났다는 사실입니다.
The South Korean president asked his aides to come up with measures keeping in mind that similar instances could happen in the future to ensure that there are no gap in the line of military command, keeping National Security Council members on standby, making sure there are balanced on-spot media coverage, as well as notifying related countries before and after such meetings.
남북 간의 지난 판문점 회담이나 올해 가을에 예정되어 있는 평양 회담처럼 격식을 갖추어서 정기적인 회담을 갖는 것은 남북 관계 발전을 위해 매우 중요한 일입니다.
Now, the South Korean president, who's long held such vision, believes what will really expedite the advancement of cross-border relations are these impromptu meetings between the two leaders on either side of the border on needs basis. 문건영, Arirang News, The Blue House.
South Korea's consumer confidence rebounded in May after 5 straight months of the decline since December. The Bank of Korea says the country's consumer sentiment index rose to 107.9 in May, up 0.8 points from the month before. A reading above 100 means there are more optimists than pessimists about the economic conditions in the coming months. The BOK attributed the boost to the recent thaw in inter-Korean relations and prospects for a North Korea-U.S. summit in June, and eased concerns over a possible trade clash between the U.S. and China have also supported the turnaround. Rival political party lawmakers passed several dozen bills, including a revision to the minimum wage bill on the last plenary session of the first half this year. But a resolution supporting the Inter-Korean Summit Declaration was not put up for a full floor vote, as the rival parties are still at odds over the specifics. Our Kim Min-ji with more.
Rival parties failed to vote on a resolution in support of the Inter-Korean Summit Agreement called the Panmunjom Declaration during a plenary session on Monday. They had initially agreed to do so, however, were unable to narrow their differences over the specifics. The ruling Democratic Party of Korea wanted to use the phrase realization of a Korean peninsula free of nuclear weapons through complete denuclearization, while the main opposition Liberty Korea Party called for a stronger statement, the complete verifiable and irreversible dismantlement of North Korea's nuclear program. The resolution will now have to wait for some time to be voted on, as Monday was the final plenary session of the first half of the 20th National Assembly. But lawmakers did make some progress, passing over 80 pending bills. Although most of them got the green light without much opposition, an amendment to the minimum wage bill was approved amid heated debate. The proposal calls for bonuses and benefits of a certain size to be calculated as part of the minimum pay. It would affect regular bonuses worth more than 25% of the minimum monthly salary of 1.57 million won, about $1,500, and welfare benefits if they're worth more than 7%. The proposal was met with resistance, as some argued that it would undermine the effect of the minimum pay hike. Lawmakers will now conclude the first half of Parliament's 4-year term on Tuesday and have a lot of re-electing to do for key parliamentary posts, including National Assembly Speaker. It's been customary for the party with the largest number of seats in Parliament to choose the Speaker, and the ruling party has selected a candidate, although a vote has yet to be held. However, the main opposition party wants to put off the vote until after the by-elections that will be held on June 13th, as there could be a shift in which party holds the most seats. The ruling party currently holds 118 seats, while the main opposition has 113. It seems that for the next few weeks or so, the National Assembly will be without a speaker, and with the terms of most key positions in Parliament expiring on Tuesday, there are concerns that the legislature could be headed for paralysis. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Taking America by the storm, BTS are blazing a new trail for Korean artists, becoming the first K-pop group to ever reach #1 on the Billboard 200. The global K-pop craze sparked by BTS's success has been grabbing headlines around the world and even compelled President Moon Jae-in to break away from his jam-packed schedule to send the group and their adoring fans a congratulatory message. Our Lee Seung-jae reports.
Off the record, our goal for this album was to be #1 on the Billboard 200.
That off-the-record dream is now a reality, with the K-pop boy band becoming the first Korean artist to ever top the Billboard 200 chart with their latest album. And it's not just the group's millions of young fans across the globe that have congratulated BTS on their achievement. President Moon Jae-in took some time out of his busy schedule on Monday to tweet his congratulations to BTS, saying their music and passion have given young people around the world comfort and courage. Saying there is sincerity in the group's outstanding dance and songs, President Moon said BTS's music has power like magic, which turns sorrow into hope and difference in commonality. The president also applauded the group for producing the first international album in 12 years to top the prestigious chart. But the recognition didn't end there. President Moon thanked the group for promoting Korean pop music on the world stage, saying the 7 members have transcended the regions, languages, cultures, and institution by putting who they are and how they want to live in their songs. Korea's Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism also hailed the group via Twitter, calling it a new history of K-pop. Minister of Culture, Sports and Tourism Do Jong-hwan said the efforts and ambitions of the 7 young members made it happen, adding that he looks forward to seeing them continue to spread the popularity of K-pop throughout the world. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
In what is hopefully a sign of what's to come in Russia, South Korea beat Honduras 2-0 on Monday night in a pre-World Cup friendly in Daegu. After a goalless first half, South Korea's star striker Heung-min broke the deadlock in the 60th minute, firing a powerful shot past the opposition goalkeeper. Heung-min, making his international debut, got the home side's second 12 minutes later. And South Korea's next friendly is Friday night in Jeonju, where they'll take on Bosnia. Kickoff is set for 8 p.m. Korea time. And now for a look at stories making headlines around the world, and we start in the United States. A massive flood has wreaked havoc in Maryland, where businesses and residents had just managed to get back on their feet after a devastating flood less than just 2 years ago. For more on this and other news around the world, we turn to our Do Aram at the News Center. So Aram, what's the latest?
Well, Simon, floodwaters ravaged through Ellicott City after it was hit with more than 20 centimeters of rain over a 6-hour period. On Sunday. On the next day, authorities said they rescued over 300 people, but were still searching for an Army National Guard member who was reported missing. They said the priority was to find 39-year-old Edison Herman and assess the damage. As of yet, there are no reports of any casualties. The floodwaters have turned the streets of Ellicott City into muddy rivers, sweeping away cars and ripping small buildings from their foundations. A road also collapsed under the weight of the water. Officials have described the aftermath of the flash flood as a war zone and likened it to a set of a disaster movie. They also said it looked worse than a deadly flood that hit the same region 2 years ago, which left 2 people dead and damaged dozens of buildings. Much of the city had just finished rebuilding after that catastrophe, with more than 90% of the city's businesses having reopened. The county was also working on stormwater retention ponds and preparing to install additional piping. But construction was scheduled for next year, raising questions as to why it was taking so long to stormproof the area. Ellicott City sits along the west bank of the Patapsco River, about 20 kilometers west of Baltimore, and is prone to flooding. Turning over now to another natural disaster that is hitting Hawaii. Lava from the erupting Kilauea volcano has covered a potentially explosive well at a geothermal power station. Officials scramble to prevent other wells at the Puna Geothermal Venture facility from being covered by deactivating them. Some 230,000 litres of flammable liquid have also been removed. The wells tap into steam and gas deep in the Earth's core, and there are fears of possible explosions emitting deadly hydrogen sulfide and other gases should they be ruptured. Officials have reassured that the wells are stable and secure, but lava has never engulfed a geothermal plant anywhere in the world before, leaving an air of uncertainty. French President Emmanuel Macron has granted French citizenship to a Malian migrant hailed as a hero after he climbed a building to rescue a child dangling from a balcony. Over the weekend, 22-year-old Mamadou Gassama was cheered by onlookers as he climbed 4 floors in just seconds to save the 4-year-old boy. The act earned him the title Spider-Man of the 18th arrondissement. On Monday, he was invited to the Élysée Palace to meet Macron, who gave him a medal for his bravery and told him he would be immediately naturalized as a French citizen and given a job with the Paris firefighters. Gassama said he had God to thank for giving him courage to scale the building. Meanwhile, the toddler has been placed in care while his father is being investigated for neglect.
Good morning. Korea and its neighboring countries will have warmer than average temperatures on Tuesday. And Seoul saw the daily high reaching nearly 30 degrees Celsius yesterday, while readings will go down a few notches today, but southern regions will continue to have summer-like heat. So for a closer look, Seoul will hit 25 degrees Celsius this afternoon, while Daejeon will have highs a couple of notches lower than Monday, but still at 28 degrees, while Gyeongju will also be at 28 degrees Celsius. Some sudden showers are in the forecast in parts of the central region, along with thunder and lightning from late afternoon into the night. With that, let's take a look at the international weather for viewers around the world. So South Korea will have partly sunny skies with passing showers in the central regions, and North Korea will also have unstable weather conditions. Meanwhile, Islamabad is going through a severe heat wave with temperatures expected to even cross 40 degrees Celsius. And air quality in Sydney has reached hazardous levels at times this morning, and there have been at least 11 days when the air quality was rated bad this month. Over in the U.S., New York will experience swings in temperatures this week with summer-like heat in the afternoon. And as for South America, Brazil's 2 major cities will be under sunny skies with highs in the mid-20s. Taking you to Europe, Berlin has been going through an unusually long stretch of very warm weather this month, and Tuesday's highs will hit 32 degrees Celsius. Lastly, to Africa, Tripoli will have excessive heat with highs reaching up to 39 degrees Celsius, so be careful of heat stroke. And that's the weather update for now.
And that should do it for us at the hour on Arirang News. Thanks as always for watching, and goodbye for now.